Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So today nawapeleka kule coast, wajua nawapikia mahamri. Mahamri za white line. So stay tuned, nionyeshe vile twafanya. Usibanduke hapo ulipo. Aya, twende kazi Nakwambia utapenda. This recipe is really exciting for me to share with you because I made failed mahamris a couple of times before I actually got it right. So I'll be giving you a couple of tips through the whole video on how to ensure that you reach at the end successfully, you get your mahamris. So for starters, we'll sieve our flour. We're using all-purpose flour. If you don't have all-purpose flour and all you're seeing in your shelf is self-raising, please do not use self-raising flour, because we're using yeast for this recipe, and self-raising flour also has a leavening agent, so the two combining together just doesn't work. So we also have cardamom powder, yeast, obviously, sugar, and vegetable oil. The coconut milk is also what we're using. I'm not using cow milk, I'm just using plain coconut milk. You can use half of each, but coconut milk is the best. That's what gives mahamri the taste, the coconut milk and the cardamom spice. So the coconut milk has to be warm. And that's also, very important thing, not hot, but warm. If it's too hot, the yeast might die. I think yeast seems to be very sensitive. Too much sugar, it dies. If it's the liquid is too hot, it dies. Too little sugar, it doesn't work. Yeast is sensitive. I mean, come on. So we're putting our coconut milk in a dish so that we can be able to add in our yeast to let it sit for about 5 minutes. We need to give our yeast some time to, do its thing and not disappoint us. I'm using a teaspoon. Well, it's a big teaspoon, so it's more of about the size of a tablespoon. Don't use too little yeast as well. If you use too little yeast, your mahamris won't rise. They'll just be hard triangles. That's the other thing. Too little yeast, they won't puff up. Oh, sorry, I forgot to show you the part where I put in also a teaspoon of sugar inside the inside the milk and yeast mixture, because yeast needs something to feed on, but you couldn't put in all the sugar there because that would kill it, so just put a little and then put the rest into the flour. So we're going to start mixing up our dough with the milk mixture. Just don't make your dough too soft, otherwise what happens is your mandazis will soak up the oil while you're cooking, and pretty much a fail. You won't be able to eat them. So make sure your dough is firm enough, not too hard, but just firm. So I'm adding the oil to make it easier for me to knead. So we're going to knead for another 5 or so minutes until the dough is really soft. And after that, we'll let it rest. So just go in with both fists. I mean, if you can knead on the table, go right ahead and do it. However you know how to. I mean, I'm kneading with both hands because that's the easiest. It comes naturally to me, so that's what I'm doing. So here's our dough. I've been kneading. I had to change the bowls because I really went a bit overboard with the oil. But yeah, I kneaded it for quite a while, and it's ready to let rest. We'll give it an hour or more, just not less than an hour. So here, there it is. It's puffy, it's puffier, and we'll start making our circles. So like I said, exactly like you would chapatis, only this time around you're going to cut them. So go in with your circles as best as you can. and place them on a tray that's dusted with flour so they don't stick at the bottom. That's also very important. So these triangles also need to rest after you make them, so it's easier if you make all your triangles. That way you're saving on time. You're giving them resting time before you cook them without having to actually wait. So we're going to just start with frying. Make sure your oil is not too hot, but it is hot enough to fry your mahamris. So that's the important part. They need to rise like that while not soaking up the oil. So what gives mahamris the white line is they puff up on both ends in a way that the edges can't touch the oil at any one given point. But if you need them to not have the white line, you're just going to have to keep turning them in a way that the edges will touch the oil and brown up as well. But mahamris are known for the white line, so let's leave the white line. You'll even feel more proud of yourself. Just wait for it to turn golden brown, and it's going to be ready. So we're just going to repeat this process until all our mahamris are nice and cooked. This is really the best part. So the other thing would be, I think I've given you all the tips, because it was not using self-raising flour while you're going to use yeast, and not making your dough too soft, and not choosing too little yeast. Those are the three most important things to get your mahamri right. And don't forget to add in your cardamom spice. And if you use water, you won't really get the mahamri taste that you're fully looking for. So I just try as much as possible to use coconut milk. You can use half coconut milk and half cow milk. The taste will still be there. So just keep frying. I'm only cooking one at a time because my fry is pretty small, and if I put two together, that's another tip, don't overcrowd them. Otherwise, if you overcrowd them, they'll lay on each other, which means they won't rise. They'll prevent each other from rising, and we need them to rise in order for them to actually cook. So mandazis that don't rise, they'll just become flat and they won't. Some will just be wrong. I mean, it'll be like, I don't even know what to compare it with. Fried, I don't know. It just doesn't work. So if you don't have enough space, please don't be tempted to cook them too quickly and put them all together so that they like you get through with it fast. Just be patient. Cook one at a time. You will thank yourself later. And remember, we are frying them on medium heat, because too high heat means they turn brown before they actually cook nicely. So we don't want that as well. So it's medium heat, not too cold. Otherwise, if the oil isn't hot enough, they'll soak in the oil, and we don't want that either. So just be a little patient with them if you don't have the space. But if you have the space, go all in by all means. See how they're rising? That rising is what makes them get the white line, because they sort of balance on the flour, on the oil. So here we are, mahamri zetu zimeiva, nakwambia. It was an accomplishment. After the many times I failed because of the small tweaks and tricks that I've just told you about. But if you follow through with them, your Mahamris will turn out just as good. And obviously, we're enjoying this with Mbaazi, Zanazi. This breakfast delicacy makes me so happy. I love the cost for this particular meal. I really hope you enjoyed it and that you like the tips. Until the next one, bye! Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe.